Hey guys, so today I want to show you how to use the lake. Now the XETA lake just opened, and what it is a little different than the pools. The pools, for example, when you go into a pool, what happens is a couple things. Obviously you're buying blocks, right? We buy the token back and then it gets deposited into the high frequency trading. So some people miss the HFT pools, right? So we have lakes, and the XETA lake is very different. So when we open up the lake, there's a couple of things. So with pools, you can pull your principal out. You cannot pull your principal out of the lake, right? And a lake does not compound. The pools do compound. So what's the benefit of the lake? Well, there's a couple of things. Number one, it is a monthly $500,000 buyback. This lake opened a couple days ago, and it's just almost 20% filled, whereas pools get filled up pretty quickly. And there's a big benefit to the lakes, which is that you roll your unclaimed rewards from your zones over with zero claim fees. That's a big deal. That's a very big deal, because the pools, which are great, they do require you to deposit tokens. So you either have to buy them or claim them, and claiming can, run up costs. They could be expensive. So I'm going to show you how to do this, but I currently have 3.5 tokens I can claim, right? So I could claim these, or I could roll them over. So I'm going to roll them over. So if you come in here, you see the lake, you can see total deposits so far. Mine's just a little over 2,300, your zone count. And based on your zone count, what the current rate is up to. It doesn't mean I'm going to get 30%. It means that I can get up to 30%. Could be 15%. For example. But anyway, if it hits up to 30, I will get up to 30. So a couple things on here. So lake size, current deposits, 95,362.05, and the remaining amount to fill. And you'll notice the little visual indicator of how much is in the lake. Right here, this will continue ticking up, and then the lake will close. So every lake will be open for 28 days, or once $500,000 is deposited, whichever comes first. Okay, so whichever comes first. So if 500,000 gets deposited in a week, the lake closes. You wouldn't see another one until the next month, for example. Once it closes, you'll see some information down here about it's being initialized, and then obviously at some point you would start seeing indicators of airdrop, total airdrop to date. Now, let's mention timelines for a minute. Here's how it works. So first, let me discuss how a pool works. And most of you know this, but it's worth discussing. So you deposit into a pool. The pool closes, the pool gets sent off. It's vested at that point. 28 days has to go by before you can ever click a withdrawal, withdraw my profits, right? That takes 28 days for that to be enabled. Once you withdraw at that 28th day, it then takes up to an additional 28 days for it to arrive in your wallet. That's how a pool works. So that's 56 days in total. The same time frame applies to a lake with a twist. So once the lake closes, okay, it's 28 days for it to go and run and create a base of profit, if that makes sense. So it's going to get traded for 28 days. On that 28th day after it closes, we'll say, okay, not we, but where it's being invested. Okay, here's the X size, which is 500,000. Here's the Y profits. Take those Y profits and now airdrop them. That takes up to 28 days to receive. Make sense? So that happens 28 days in. Then it takes additional 28 days for you to receive it, for a total of 56 days. Exactly the same as a pool if you were to hit withdraw as soon as you're able to hit withdraw. What will happen is once you receive the first airdrop, you will then receive the airdrop every 28 days after that. But there's a first 56-day wait to get the first one, and then 28 days after that. I hope that makes sense. Because what has to happen is there has to be a base of profit that is built, and then the principal can continue being traded, and then you just get airdropped every single 28 days. It just takes 56 days for you to get the first one, to make it simple. So let's say I want to deposit into this and roll over. What do I do? So a couple of things. First of all, you'll notice how that just ticked up just right now as I was about to say it. my unclaimed rewards are going up as we're talking here. The token quantity is going up, but the US dollar is being modified based on whatever the open market value is. So you can type in here how much you want to enter. I could say I want to put 2.1 in. I don't want to put all 3.6. I want to put 2 in. You have to put at least $100 in. It says right here, the system calculates the USD value. Your XETA deposit must have a value of $100 or greater. So if I try to put 1 in, it won't work. Okay. Now, if I just want to put in the max, here's a little tip. This little orange arrow, click the orange arrow. There you go. Automatically enters as much as you're able to put in at the moment. Okay. Then we're going to hit deposit now. It's going to give you a brief disclaimer. It's going to say where you're depositing, current rate based on your zone count up to, how much is available, your total value. And then in here, this is when it's going to say your first airdrop will arrive 56 days. We can probably zoom in a little bit here. I'll read it. Your XETA Lake deposit will be immediately withdrawn from your XETA rewards balance. It's your unclaimed rewards. Your first airdrop will arrive 56 days after the fund is closed and processed, and monthly thereafter. So, Lake closes, let's say 2 weeks, let's say the end of January, Lake closes, right? 56 days from when it closes, and well, it's really from the next business day, but we'll do easy math. 56 days from when it closes is when you will get the first airdrop in your wallet, and then every month after that, okay? So there's basically a 1 month gap, if that makes sense, from the first, initialization. Returns presented are estimates based on past performance and do not constitute a guarantee or future performance of returns. There are no exceptions or refunds. You click I understand and deposit. And this is going to do it. Now, obviously, the first time you do that, you have to approve. There's a MetaMask approval. I've already done it, so that's why you didn't see that. And then what will happen is your deposit will update up here as well. Now, over time, as you deposit into more lakes, you're going to see individual lakes down here, and then you'll see overall lakes up here. Overall account performance. It's very similar to pools, where you see an overall account performance and an individual pool performance. This is the lake. I mean, this is a $500,000 monthly buyback. It enables kind of, I don't want to use the word opportunity, but, if you miss pools, very likely a lake will be open. And I mean, we see, we're 2.5 days into this, almost 20% of it's already used up. So this is something that's likely going to be available when you need it if you miss a pool, right? So we have lots of utility. We've obviously got the farm, we've got the pools, we've got OTC now, which you can sell without impacting the open market price. We've got lakes, we've got all sorts of stuff. Lots of things to do with your tokens, lots of utility that other projects don't have, and lakes is a pretty cool, yeah, there's a sunk cost, but there's a rollover. I paid no claim fees to do what I just did. If I was to claim and then go into a pool, it's an additional cost. We don't think about it, but it's an additional cost. Even if I wanted to sell, I have to recoup those fees. This gives another avenue to ensure not only that my future zone fees can be covered without ever having to sell the token, by the way, which is a benefit I'm not sure many have thought about, but to do so at a lower cost without having to pay for claim fees. So again, this is the lake. Go ahead and dive in. The water is warm. Until next time, take care. God bless.